All right, here we go with the UFC 220 official Staredowns. We'll kick things off here at the historic Fenway Park. Thomas Almeida against Rob Font. Kicking off the pay-per-view on Saturday night, the TD Garden here in Boston. You see Dana White, a proud native of these parts, squaring off the fighters. A fun fight in the UFC's bantamweight division. Rob Font and Thomas Almeida, two of the more exciting fighters at 135 pounds. We're inside the Fenway Park Stadium, home of the Boston Red Sox. As we move along to the light heavyweights, John Volante and Francie Marburo. Volante, New York's own. His head coach on Saturday is Chris Weidman, his best friend. Barroso very confident, also hailing from Brazil, raising up his fist, feeling good heading into Saturday's pay-per-view. Let's move things along here and say hello to Shane Burgos, undefeated thus far in the UFC, undefeated in his career. He hails from the Bronx. He hails from and he's squaring off against Calvin Kattar. Chris Weidman making me laugh there, in case you're wondering why I was off my game. Chris Weidman and George Gurgel. Hello, guys. How are you? Hi. That's Shane Burgos and Calvin Kattar. You couldn't see Weidman and Gurgel, but trust me, they were there. All right, here comes the big boys. It's Daniel Cormier and Volkan Ozdemir squaring off for the UFC light heavyweight title. You see the height advantage. Switzerland's own Volkan Ozdemir and Daniel Cormier looking to assert himself as the top light heavyweight in the world. He's coming off his loss to John Jones back in July, which was overturned. You see Cormier not holding up the title. He'll only hold it up once he wins on Saturday. He made a point of that on Monday's MMA Hour. Once again, sharing some words, Daniel Cormier and Volkan Ozdemir. Cormier checking out his shoes. He claims that Volkan wears lifts. Talking some smack back and forth. Daniel Cormier, one of the best in the game when it comes to smack talking, giving Volkan Ozdemir a piece of his mind. And finally, we'll end things with Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. One of the most anticipated heavyweight title fights of all time. Cleveland's own Stipe Miocic, Cameroon's own Francis Ngannou. Of course, he also represents France. Two men who like to end things very quickly. Francis Ngannou coming off the knockout of the year against Alistair Overeem in December. Miocic coming off a knockout win over Junior Dos Santos. It doesn't get bigger than this. The heavyweight title on the line this Saturday at the TD Garden here in Boston. Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou.
I hate it. But like nobody says it.